Hello everyone, I have another pretty cheap iPhone that I wanted to go and talk about today. This is, in my opinion, an amazing iPhone, I think, for the price tag. I genuinely do think it's completely worth buying and everything of the sort. But I would also argue that a device like the iPhone XR a device like an iPhone XS is actually very, very decent for the price that you're going to be paying for this particular phone. Now, this is like the cheapest of the cheapest device I would recommend buying on iOS 17, either this thing or the iPhone XR. I wouldn't really recommend going any further than this, to be honest, in terms of going lower. It just doesn't make too much sense to me from that particular standpoint. But I think the iPhone XS and the iPhone XS Max are actually very decent entry points for the iPhone lineup for the cheapest iPhone there is. Last year we had like the iPhone 8 technically being the cheapest iPhone I'd recommend buying. Now it's pretty much the XR and the XS, and I think these are actually pretty decent devices. Now, first of all, around $200-ish you can buy this thing in the used market. In fact, you can probably buy this thing under $200 all over the place, and that is actually a really decent price tag to pay for this thing. I've seen a lot of these things go for around like $170 to $190-ish as well. So already you're getting an iPhone that is less than half the price of the iPhone SE3, but it's not half the phone. A few things to keep in mind: this phone is probably not going to be supported for like another 2-3 years, but at least for like another 1.5 to 2 years, you're probably going to be perfectly fine. Now, this type of device, very, very decent display. It's a 5.8-inch Super Retina OLED display. It's not bad, and I definitely do think it actually looks pretty decent. For what you're actually getting this type of device for, you're probably going to be perfectly fine, and I definitely do think from that perspective, it is a very interesting device to say the least. Now, on top of that, the display itself looks nice. The build quality is very, very good. You're getting glass on the back, glass on the front obviously, dual camera setup, wireless charging, very decent build for the most part, and like I said before, for one, I'm a pretty big fan of the way this particular device holds up and looks like on the outside. Now, some other things to keep in mind here, I would also say the performance of this phone really actually isn't that bad. Once again, you'd genuinely be surprised how good of a device this thing is from the performance standpoint. Again, this thing is not perfect, but when I compare this thing against the iPhone 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, all those devices they don't really hold up that bad against this thing, and I do think that in and of itself is a very decent thing to keep in mind with this particular device. When you're comparing this thing against those other devices, you want it to be faster and perform better in every single way. And this thing actually performs very, very decently for what you're getting from that perspective. I would also say the cameras, they're not perfect or anything, and you're missing that ultra-wide camera, but you're still getting 10x zoom, which is about the same thing as the iPhone 15. And I do think it's not really that bad of a performing device from that perspective alone either. So I'll definitely tell you overall, the iPhone XS, being one of the cheapest iPhones I'd recommend buying right now, I think it's a pretty decent device. It's not perfect, but I do think Apple did a really decent job with it, and I think that in and of itself deserves some respect in my opinion. So that pretty much covers it up there. If you have any other thoughts or questions, let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.